we've grown and touched countless hearts. For 7 years, this space has been our creative hub, producing some of your favourite programmes. But now, we've outgrown it. The time has come for a new beginning. We are excited to announce that Imam Hussein TV is in the process of acquiring a new headquarters in the heart of London, Park Royal. This 5,548 square feet facility will be our permanent home, enabling us to produce high-quality content without the constraints of rising rental costs that have tied our hands when it comes to expression and creativity. This new space will enable us to expand our team, provide enhanced resources for professional development, and produce even more inspiring content for our rapidly growing audience. Our new headquarters will feature a modern studio, green screen rooms, a library, and much more. Imagine a place where youth can gather, learn, and grow spiritually. A place that serves the community for generations to come. Your donation can help us build specific parts of our new home. Whether it's contributing to the Ahkam SOS set, the carpet for the Husainiyya, or even a single brick, every penny counts. As we embark on this journey to create a new home, each brick donated by you represents a vital piece of our vision. Amalgamating each one together forms the missing piece that completes the sculpture of the sacred names that our new office and studio spaces are named after. Each room in our new facility is dedicated to a member of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, reflecting their values and contributions to our faith. By naming a room, you honour their legacy and help us continue their mission. Our project is divided into 3 phases: securing the property, transitioning and developing the new studio, and expanding our team and upgrading equipment. Each phase is crucial to our growth and sustainability, and ultimately allows us to brainstorm with the highest efficiency. Your generosity reaches far beyond London. It helps us provide for those in need, bringing warmth, food, and hope to families in Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Yemen, and many countries worldwide.
Thank you. We understand that not everyone can make a large donation, but every small contribution helps. Even a single £1 can make a big difference. Together, we can build a brighter future for our community, and we can contribute to the everlasting message of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam.
Your pocket change can ensure the completion of a few inches of the building, eventually leading to it standing high and wide and in full working motion.
Visit our website, click the donate button and be part of this incredible journey. Let's build the new home for Imam Hussein TV together, because ultimately this is your home. Imam Hussein TV, a new beginning. Donate now and help us create a legacy that will serve the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam for generations to come, because this is your gateway to Karbala.
Preparation.
A whirlwind of emotions.
First time as a Shia, I cried.
Attracting variation.
judged by the most proficient.
Maybe you are the best thing ever happened in this show.
Probably one of the best lectures I've heard this year.
The Shia Voice Season 3. This holy month of Ramadan.
Exclusively on Imam Hussein TV3.
Ignite hope and stamp out poverty with Imam Hussein Charity.
Sayyid, you ate before the adhan? Do you know if your fast was valid? Brother, you love tattoos, don't you? Is tattoos haram or halal? Uncle, you don't know if it's the third or the last rak'ah? Not sure if you need to repeat it? Abu Talib, it's pork flavor but vegetarian. Is it halal? Sayyid Muhsin, your yearly khums is here again? You don't know how to calculate it, do you?
Don't worry, you're not alone. And I'm sure you guys... Can you just turn off the echo, please? Thank you very much. And I'm sure you guys have questions as well. Get the answers you need here on Ahkam SOS. We will be going live every night throughout the holy month of Ramadan, exclusively on Imam Hussein TV3.
In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful, all praise due to the Lord, Master of all the worlds, and peace and blessings be on all his prophets, and especially the final prophet, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. My respected brothers and sisters, congratulations to each and every one of you on the holy month of Ramadan. May Allah bless each and every one of you. I bid you assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. And just when we thought we had no content left, MBC decides to release a series on the life of no other than Muawiya. Now, when this news came out, I think it came out as a shock to many people. It wasn't a shock really to myself, because on the first level, MBC has had a history of producing a series or documentaries on different figures in the Islamic world. But I think some people are quite shocked that they went to a documentary or a series on the life of Muawiya for the whole month. Because Muawiya is often a disputed figure in Islamic history. In the past, they may have done a series on the life of, for example, Umar ibn al-Khattab. But when you're doing one on the life of Muawiya, that brings about a certain sense of shock, maybe confusion, maybe some controversy. And I've seen people who've gone up in arms and they're quite angry with this. But I personally don't see a single issue with there being a series on Muawiya in the holy month of Ramadan, or in Shawwal, or in Dhul Qa'dah, or in Dhul Hijjah, or in Muharram, or any time of the year. Why? Because I don't believe that one school in Islam should have a monopoly on dictating to everybody else what should be presented from Islamic history and what shouldn't. If someone wants to do a documentary on any figure in Islamic history, they have every right to. When they've released this series on Muawiya, first and foremost, I don't want to be someone who judges the series without having watched it, because we sometimes fall into that trap. We hear, for example, a hoo-ha, there is taking place around the world. How could someone talk about Muawiya in a positive way? We haven't even watched one episode yet. How do we know how the director may reach a conclusion on the life of Muawiya? And if he does reach a conclusion which is positive, that's completely up to him. And if he reaches a conclusion which is negative, that's completely up to him. There has to be an understanding this holy month of Ramadan, when we dissect the literature in this wonderful new set behind me, when we dissect the literature with all these books behind me, there has to be an understanding that your narrative in relation to a figure like Muawiya may not be the same narrative that everybody else concludes with. I may have a narrative about early Islamic history. Your narrative may be different. Does everybody in this world have to agree with my narrative? Not really. So if there's a director out there who has decided to make a documentary or a series on Muawiya, I don't blame him. My PhD was on Muawiya. My PhD was not on Imam Ali alayhi salam, nor on Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, nor on Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. One of the rudest awakenings that I ever had in my life was when I did my PhD on Muawiya. Because I understood Muawiya from a number of different lenses, which I don't think many do. Muawiya ruled much of the Islamic State for 40 years or so. Muawiya fought the likes of Imam Ali and Imam al-Hasan alayhim as-salam. Muawiya had Palestine, Lebanon, Jordan and Syria under his command. And some ways he was making inroads into Medina and to Kufa. Muawiya did ensure that Islam was spread, whether you believe that that's the Islam you agree with, whether you agree with expansionism or not, whether expansionism is the worldview of my school or not. Muawiya managed to reach from Africa to Cyprus. Therefore, when I'm looking at Muawiya and I'm seeing this series, I see people straight away saying, why are they doing a series on Muawiya? And people are cursing Muawiya and attacking Muawiya and doing this on Muawiya and that on Muawiya. My dear brothers and sisters, the reality is that MBC has every right, and the director and producer and editor have every right to make a series on Muawiya, like I might have a right to make a series on Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. I might have a right to make a series on Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. You find that in Iran, for example, there has been a series that's been done on Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, or on Mukhtar, or on Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam. Just because you've reached a conclusion about Muawiya doesn't mean that every other Muslim has to agree with you. And likewise, if I, as a Shi'i, reach a conclusion about Muawiya, every other Muslim shouldn't be offended. If I'm not gonna be offended when another person writes or lectures or praises such figures, then they shouldn't be offended when I have my narrative and my reading as well. The problem is, sometimes, that when you want to depict Islamic history, people want to depict Islamic history with only their version. And the moment somebody else produces another version of Islamic history, then automatically you'll see a slanging match take place. You have a version about Muawiya. I may not accept it, but I'll tolerate it. Society today, especially on Western shores, is a society of free speech. Even now, I will add that there are parts of the Middle East where there might be more free speech than there have been 10, 15, 20 years ago. Not every country in the Middle East has the same level of free speech, but there might be more tolerance to opinion in contrast to what it might have been 10, 15, 20 years ago. Each country differs. Therefore, when I saw the trailer for the series on Muawiya, I did realize that there's definitely an Umayyad movement that's on the rise. There's definitely a praise of Bani Umayyah and Muawiya that's on the rise. I look, for example, now in Syria, Damascus, there's this glorification of Masjid al-Amawi and how people are so proud to post videos of them praying at Masjid al-Amawi. I don't have a single issue with that. That person, for him, he may have reached a conclusion that that's part of their golden age. I'm now even seeing videos online where there is a major aim to defend Muawiya and the cause of Muawiya. If you play, please, clip number 1, you'll see this particular video where Faris al-Hammadi makes clear what his opinion is about Muawiya in reply to a question that's been posed to him only recently. Please play clip number 1.
What's your thought on Muawiya? You know what LA means? Not Los Angeles. It means may Allah curse him. I think Allah will curse the people who curse Muawiya. Because Muawiya is a companion. Muawiya is a companion, and the Prophet ﷺ did dua for him. And he, as the scholars said, Muawiya is the gateway of the companions. And anybody who slanders and thinks ill of Muawiya, any of the Sahaba and Muawiya, then he has a sickness and a disease and a poison in his heart and in his head. So refrain from this. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we don't curse anyone. Yeah, we curse only the bad people, but cursing the companions, Sallallahu Alaihi, may Allah guide you or may Allah punish you. You know, your opponent, Yawm al-Qiyamah, will be Muawiya, not only Muawiya, and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because he loved Muawiya and he did dua for Muawiya. May Allah be pleased with him.
You see, I don't have an issue. I've got my points in which I can reply. But Faris al-Hammadi, that's his worldview. He now suddenly became a representative of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And from tomorrow, I'm going to ask the question, what is Sunni Islam? What are the roots of Sunni Islam? Sunni Islam, is it monolithic, or are there so many different strands of it that it's been divided and subdivided and subdivided and subdivided? And arguably one of the greatest PR games that's ever been played is how Sunni Islam has been portrayed as a monolithic entity when in reality the subdivisions of theology and law are absolutely all over the place. When Faris al-Hammadi talks and says, this is Muawiyah, this is Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, he's offering his opinion. Why not? Let him offer his opinion. But he cannot force his opinion on me. And that's where we come with this month of Ramadan. The aim for us is to be able to elaborate that this is my reading, that's your reading. If you believe you want to be raised with Muawiyah on the Day of Judgment, you're more than welcome to have that. What's wrong? If you want to be raised with Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman, why not? You be raised with them. I don't want to be raised with them because I have a reading and you have a reading. You have literature and I have literature. I have no interest in being raised with any of them. I don't want to even be near any of these personalities. But in the same way you have your proofs for why you want to be with the gateway to the Prophet, Muawiyah, likewise I have my proofs why I want to stay far away from him. The point is that when a film is made about Muawiyah and everyone's up in arms about that film, sometimes I don't think that the non-Shia is the issue. I think the Shia is the issue. Why? Because the Shia has missed a particular point over here. Let a film be produced about Muawiyah, and you also produce a film about Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Oh, you did? Yes, you did. But you had a major problem with your own film about Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. One of the issues that I have is that when the Lady of Heaven film was produced, it was the Shia who jumped straight away and said that you cannot have such things on the television. The non-Shia also jumped and said you cannot have your narrative, but you can have your narrative on Muawiyah and you can have your narrative on Umar. There's no issue there. But if I want to have a narrative on Fatima al-Zahra's life, why the protests outside cinemas everywhere? You have your narrative, I have mine. My conclusion is that she died as a martyr. My conclusion is that her house was attacked. That's my narrative. So why is there a problem with my film and you can have your film? Why is it that when anyone offers a reading that differs with what's so-called the mainstream, although tonight's episode I'm going to show you that even when you're looking at Sunni Islam, not everybody agrees with Faris al-Hammadi at all. And I'm going to show you certain members of Sunni Islam who completely disagree on Muawiyah. And in some cases can't stand Muawiyah. But why is it that it's okay to have your narrative about Muawiyah and about the life of Umar, but the moment I have a narrative about Fatima al-Zahra's life, that's controversial? Why can't everybody have their narrative and their reading of Islamic history and we can agree to disagree? The problem that came with the Lady of Heaven was that you said the Sahaba's faces were being depicted. But in this Muawiyah film, the Sahaba's faces are depicted. So why is it there's no protests? Why no demonstrations? What's the issue? You said that the film Lady of Heaven was sectarian. A film on Muawiyah is borderline sectarian. I don't think Muawiyah necessarily represents the most united front of Islamic history. I know in patching him up, you have to try and show that at the end he wanted unity, but at the cost of just a few thousand dead people in a number of wars. The issue, therefore, when we examine Islamic history, is that we need to understand each other's narrative. We cannot believe that our narrative is the only narrative. You have a narrative about Muawiya and say he's the great gateway to the Prophet, peace be upon his family. I have a narrative about the killer of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, and I believe that they are far away from the Prophet and his family. That's your narrative and I have mine. If you make a film, don't jump about that film. Let them have their film. Let them have their documentary. What's the issue? Let them have their narrative. But don't be so apologetic about your narrative. There's no need to be apologetic about your narrative. We live in a world where films are produced. We live in a world where documentaries are there, where series are there, where narratives are being portrayed and instilled when? In the holy month of Ramadan. And this brings me to a point. When we have these discussions in the holy month of Ramadan, some people will say, the month of Ramadan is the month of spirituality. Tell the members of MBC that it's a month of spirituality. Why have you put Muawiya? They'll turn around and say, what's wrong? Gaining knowledge about Islamic history is spirituality. Gaining knowledge about a caliph of the caliphs of Islam is spirituality. They'll turn around and say, what's wrong? We are the ones who are overly apologetic. No, you know what? This is a month that we talk about prayers. Talk about prayers. It's a month we talk about fasting. Talk about fasting. There's no issue there whatsoever. Why not? It's a month that we should talk about dua. Why not? Talk about dua in this holy month. It's a month that we should talk about how we get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why not? We want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this holy month. Wonderful. But one of the ways in which we get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this holy month is what? Is that we learn about our history and we study our literature and we understand our teachings and we understand the base of everything that we have within our lives. Therefore, for us in this holy month of Ramadan, when I go through each discussion, my aim is to simply put forward the Shia narrative. Some people used to ask me the question, the talks that you give in the holy month of Ramadan on this issue, are they for non-Shia? And who said they're for non-Shia? They're for my Shia. Because if my Shia today were asked, the followers of Ahlul Bayt were asked, how would you look at Muawiya? Is Muawiya looked at in one way only in Shi'ism? Is Muawiya looked at only in one way in the Sunni world? I'll turn around and say, no, on the contrary. In the Sunni world, there are people who have Faris al-Hammadi's opinion that Muawiya is the one who wrote the Wahi. Muawiya is the Khal of the Mu'mineen, the uncle of the believers. Muawiya is a gateway to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his family. But then there are others who came forward and said, don't say that that's what we all believe. There are many of us who may generalize about the non-Shia opinion on Muawiya. But the reality is, when a person looks at the non-Shia opinion on someone like Muawiya, there are different opinions that are posited. In the last 20, 25 years alone, there have been scholars who are not Shia, who have given negative opinions on Muawiya and the character of Muawiya. If you can please play clip number 2, you'll see one of the most damning attacks on Muawiya that you will ever see online. Please play clip number 2.
يعني متأسفين جدا لما لم يقاتل الإمام الحسين وكتب لمعاوية في آخر حياة معاوية في آخر أيامه وذكر هذا المزي في ترجمة الحسين. نقول من وين مصدرك؟ الإمام أبو الحجاج المزي في تهذيب الكمال ترجمة الحسين ابن علي عليهما السلام. قال فكتب له الحسين كذا وكذا، قال ولا أرى لي عند الله عذرا في ترك جهادك. أنا مش حجاهدك الآن لأنه أخي أعطاك عهدا. أخي سم، هذا بعد سم الحسن عليه السلام. حسن 48 سم، وهذا الكلام كان قبل موت معاوية بأيام وهو يأخذ البيعة ليزيد وكذا كذا. وبعث له مروان بن الحكم قال له إني لا أرى أبا عبد الله الحسين إلا مرصدا لفتنة وكلام إلى آخره. الجاسوس هذا فبعث له وقال له وانتبه وإن تكدني يا حسين أكدك. قال له بتكيدني بكيدك أنا وتعرف أنا أكيد. معروف معاوية ما فيش عنده محرم، يتوسل كل الوسائل أيا كانت، إجرامية خسيسة، ذهب فضة سيف موت دم سم عسل قتل، ما عندوش مشكلة. الرجل هذا فظيع. عليك أن تقرأ حتى تعرف من هو معاوية. اقرأ بس اقرأ، حاول تقرأ، ما تقرأش دراسات، اقرأ التاريخ نفسه واقرأ التاريخ كله. سوف ترى تكون صورة وحدك والله دون أن يكون لك حتى علم بالأسانيد ولا بالرجال. اقرأ أنت في الأخير ستخرج بانطباع. اقرأ الكتب الكذب نفسها، اقرأ الكتب الأموية اللي بتدافع عنه زي الذهبي وابن كثير، في الأخير تخرج بانطباع أنه هذا داهية وطاغية ورجل فظيع. الرجل هذا ولن تحبه. أتحداك أن تحبه لو قرأت. انتبه، واقرأ كتبهم، مش كتب الأعداء لسه أعدائه، لا كتبهم. هذا ما حصل معي. لا يمكن تخرج من طباع الحقيقة كما قلت لكم دائما تبرز قرنها، ما في تقول لك أنا واضحة لك يعني موجودة أنا شوفني. المهم قال له لا أرى عذرا لي عند الله في ترك جهادك يا معاوية، بس أنا ملتزم بعهد أخي، وإلا أنت أوف. قال له عارفك أنا عارف، فما تقوليش إيه الأمة والحسن صالحوا وتضحكوا علينا، لأنه هذا باغي كما صالحوا أبوه. ليش علي صالحوا؟ عشان ما تستمرش الحرب. صالحوا الحرب قائمة في المعمعان، صح ولا لا؟ صبيحة الهرير صالحوا، وإلا حتصير مصر.
Dr. Adnan Ibrahim with one of the most damning attacks on Muawiya you'll ever see. Dr. Adnan Ibrahim is not Shia. He's not Shia, but was willing to re-examine the Sunni reading on Muawiya. Or, I should say, was willing to reply to the current Sunni trend on Muawiya. I met someone recently in Umrah. We were in Umrah in Medina, and he was discussing with me. He was Sunni. He was discussing with me. He said, I don't like the way Sunni thought today is praising Muawiya. This is not our direction. Dr. Adnan Ibrahim here discusses Muawiya by blatantly saying that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam in Sunni sources says to Muawiya, I have no excuse in the eyes of God not to do jihad against you, except that you've done a treaty with my brother. This is just before Muawiya died. He said, I have no excuse in the eyes of Allah not to do jihad against you. For me as a Shi'i, when a member of the holy household, the grandson of the Holy Prophet, master of the youth of paradise, when you ask me as a Shi'i, why is it that I despise Muawiya? This is my narrative. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam says, I have no excuse in the eyes of Allah as to why I should not do jihad against who? Against you. Marwan ibn al-Hakam says at that moment that al-Hussein is the cause of fitna. Muawiya replies to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, you try and plot against me, I'll plot against you. Now you tell me, when a person blatantly says to the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, quite ironically, that same grandson who was butchered by who? No other than mashallah Muawiya's son's army in Karbala. When a person says to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, would you say to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, as a Muslim, would you ever say to him, you plot against me, Hussein, I'll plot against you? Adnan Ibrahim says, you can even go to pro-Umayyad sources. Go to Dhahabi, go to Ibn Kathir, go and study even the pro-Umayyad sources. You will reach the conclusion that Muawiya is a Baghiya. It's not, wallahi, if it was a Shia saying this, they will say you Shia sectarian. Adnan Ibrahim is not Shia. Adnan Ibrahim says you will reach the conclusion that Muawiya is a Baghiya. Therefore, when I look at the different readings that are presented, even within Sunni Islam, I have to be careful that I don't paint Sunni Islam with the same brush. Last year, I said Abu Talib, some Sunni believe he is in hell, others say no. The parents of the Prophet, peace be upon his family, some Sunnis say they are in hell, and others say no. Likewise with Muawiya, Sheikh Ahmed al-Kubaisi, in this next clip, one of the renowned Iraqi scholars, Sheikh Ahmed al-Kubaisi discusses how we have Rawafid, which is us, the rejectors of Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman, and because of our reading, we do not have the reference that others do for them. And then he says, but there is also a group, and they are known as the Nawasib, those who have hate for Ahlul Bayt, and they are those who praise Muawiya. Please play clip number 3.
هذا الأنصاري والمهاجر والرضواني مقدس رضي الله عنهم، وهذا بس فقط الثلاثة، أما الباقين لا. نعم على رأسي وكل وعد الله الحسنى، هذا رأسي، لكن لا تقارن خالد بن بكر الصديق، لا تقارن معاوية وأبو معاوية وبالسيف، بتقولون السيرة مالتكم أصحاب المئين. بعد ما المعركة مع الحنين ارتدوا عن الإسلام، معاوية وغير معاوية ارتدوا، النبي طاب كل واحد بيتلاقى ورجعوا للإسلام بالتألف. هذا تقيس هذا أبو بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي؟ شو هالكلام يا أولادي؟ بطلوا النصب يا ناصر يا ناصر يا ناصبون، وبطلوا الرفض يا رافضة. اتقوا الله في هذا، عودوا شيعة وعودوا سنة حقيقيين. والله يا أخي للأسف الشديد بواحد صرنا نواصب وهم صاروا روافض بواحد. هذاك اسماعيل الصفوي وهذا معاويه، نعوذ بالله، وما فيش حد احسن من حد، مسوينا ملاعي وعسى كلهم خوش مسلم يا ناصب. انتم نواصب كما هم روافض. هناك نواصب وهو انتم بتوع معاويه الذي امر بسب علي، وهذا صحيح مسلم، في صحيح مسلم، مش صحيح مسلم معروف. وهذا التشيع، هذا العصبيه لاجل معاويه الذي كل ما نعانيه الان من معاويه، وأنتم تحبونه كل هذا الحب. والله لو عندكم 1%، وأنا كنت هكذا، أنا من أهل الأنبار، والأنبار نواصب، لاحظ يعني يحبون معاوية وعلي ما عندهم مشكلة، ما مش بتاعنا هذا علي. حينئذ يا سيدي الكريم، أنا هذا كلامك يسعدني. ليش؟ حتى ما تحزنون كثير لما تسمعون ماذا يفعل الشيعة في العراق وماذا يفعلون في كلكم سواء، روافض ونواصب. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لعن الله من ناصبكم العداء. كيف يمكن أن تكون مواليا لعلي وقاتله، للحسين وقاتله؟ ما يصير، لو هذا لو هذا، اختار لك واحد منهم. ولهذا يا وليدي اتقوا الله في أنفسكم. صح هذه وراثة ووجدنا آباء، لكن صرنا كبار وتعلمنا وقرينا وتبين كلها لعبة يهود. يا وليدي خليك مع النبي وآل بيته. والله العظيم مصيبة هذه الأمة من معاوية. وإنه لو تقرأ هذه إذا تكون بالأحاديث، أبو هريرة يقول والله لولا أني أخاف على هذه لسميت القوم بأسمائهم. وقال له عبد الله بن عمر على فراش الموت لمعاوية، قال له يا عبد الله هل لي من توبة؟ قال له هيهات يا معاوية. قال يا ربي إن هذا الرجل يئسني من رحمتك، والله ليس لي ما ألقاك به إلا أني لا أشرك بك شيئا. يا سيدي كل ما نعانيه الآن من معاوية، هذا على سيدنا، وقاله قبلك أكبر منك وأكبر مني، قالوا سيدنا، هم مسؤولين يوم القيامة. أنت إما أن تكون مع علي أو تكون مع معاوية، اختر لك واحد منهم. اللهم احشرني مع علي، آمين. وأنت إن شاء الله يحشرك مع معاوية.
تفضل يا شيخ معك.
حياك الله. بس بغيت أعلق على بعض الأمور.
تفضلي.
أول شيء عن معاوية وعلي، أنت قلت يا شيخ إنه يا إما نكون يا علي أو نكون يا معاوية، وهذا ما يجوز.
لا يجوز.
علي
هذا يجوز،
معاوية. عفوا لحظة خليني أتكلم.
خلي واضح، أنا فاهم هذا الكلام، لا وقتنا.
لحظة شوية يا دكتور، عفوا أنت تتكلم ما شاء الله عليك بسرعة وايد،
يا بنتي
يعني فيها وايد أخطاء في العقيدة.
يا بنتي باقي لنا 10 دقائق، خلاص خليك معاوية انتهينا، خليك معاوية.
لا لحظة شوية يا دكتور، لا ما يصير،
باقي 10 دقائق، افتهمنا هالسوالف، افتهمنا نعرفها يا بنتي. خلاص خليكي معها، الله إن شاء الله يحضرك معها. كفاية هاللعب هذا.
Don't mess with the Iraqi Sheikh on the wrong day, especially if he's not in the right mood. Sheikh Ahmed al-Kubaisi, he was on one. Sheikh Ahmed al-Kubaisi was on one in that clip. He was like, listen, make up your mind. Don't say I'm with Ali and I'm with Muawiyah. And then he said, oh Allah, raise me with Ali. Sheikh Ahmed al-Kubaisi, who said that I am from the area of the Anbar in Iraq, who are Nawasib. He doesn't call them Sunni, he says Nawasib. He said these are the proponents and the supporters of Muawiyah. He goes, Muawiyah is the musibah of Islam. Muawiyah is the musibah of Islam. He says, you cannot say, I am with Ali and with Muawiyah. There's a battle, Imam Ali one side, Muawiyah another. And if you listen to the mental gymnastics, they both liked each other but fitna. That's number one. The Yemeni Jew always turns up. That's number two. Number three, Muawiyah was wrong, but it's his ijtihad. So ijtihad, you get ijtihad wrong, Ali got it right. Number three. Number four, even though in their own literature, you're not meant to rise against the ruler of the time. That's the rule of the time. Don't we always hear that is the ruler of the time? You're not meant to rise against the ruler of the time. Look with me over here, my dear brothers and sisters. Come with me over here, please. If we go to this particular work, The Foundation of the Sunnah, author Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the famous Imam of the Hanbali school, If you come with me over here, Foundation of the Sunnah by the revered scholar, teacher, the reviver of the Sunnah, the subduer of innovations. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal died 241 after Hijrah. Where do I have? Do I have the publishing over here? Because I just want to get back into the right mood of mentioning everything so that everybody says, look over here, please. Zoom in as much as you can. It's really small writing over here. But let's go over here. Ingram, Content Group, UK Limited, Pitfield, Milton Keynes, MK11, 3LW, UK. And that's all the numbers that you require, I think, my dear brothers and sisters. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal is telling us what's the foundations of Ahlus Sunnah. If I want to know what are their foundations, within this text, you will find, my dear brothers and sisters, some interesting things are mentioned. But of them which are mentioned, which I think everybody should try and pay some attention to, my dear brothers and sisters, is this discussion over here. And what does the discussion over here tell us? Discussion over here discusses the fact that on the first level, you have a ruler or an imam of your time. And that ruler or that imam of your time is somebody who is meant to be respected. You're not meant to fight that ruler or that imam of your time. Look over here on page 28 to 29. Come down with me, my dear brothers and sisters. Page 28, 29. You see over here, number 47. And hearing and obeying the leaders and the Amir al-Mu'mineen, whether righteous or sinful. Leaders righteous or sinful, you have to obey him. From amongst those who come into power with the Khilafah and with respect to whom the people have agreed and united themselves and are pleased with. Number 53, let's go across over here. And whoever revolts against a leader from amongst the leaders of the Muslims after the people had agreed upon him and united themselves behind him, after they had affirmed the Khilafah for him in whatever way this Khilafah may have been, by their pleasure and acceptance or by his force and domination over them, then this revolter has disobeyed the Muslims and has contradicted the narrations of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if the one who revolted against the ruler, aka Muawiya revolting against Imam Ali or Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, revolted against the ruler, died, he would have died the death of ignorance. If a person revolts against the ruler of their time, that person dies the death of ignorance. When Sheikh Ahmed al-Kubaisi and Dr. Adnan Ibrahim, when both of them are saying Muawiya musiba, Muawiya fitna, Muawiya troublemaker, don't say you are Shia are the ones who slander. Why don't you correct your own madhab first? Your madhab has a reading and I have a reading. Someone might ask the question, when you say you Shia have your reading on Muawiya, how do I present my reading on Muawiya? My reading on Muawiya on the first level, as I mentioned, is that Muawiya was somebody who fought the Ahl al-Bayt salawatullah wa salamu alayhim. Openly fought the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. How many times do you hear Shia being told, you guys slander the companions, you guys don't respect the companions? So what? Raising an army to fight Ali and Ammar and others of the Sahaba, knowing that the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family, had spoken gloriously about these Sahaba. Let's look. Ammar bin Yasir, for example, join me over here, please. Sahih al-Bukhari, my dear brothers and sisters. Come with me over here. Sahih al-Bukhari, as you could all see. Let's zoom in the translation of the meanings of Sahih al-Bukhari. Arabic English, volume 4. Hadith number 2338 to 3848. Translated by Dr. Muhammad Muhsin Khan. Where are we? Let's come over here. Darus Salam Publishers and Distributors, PO Box 22743, Riyadh 11416, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Printed in July 1997. Printing supervised by Abdul Malik Mujahid. Maktabat Darus Salam 1997, King Fahd National Library. Everybody come with me over here to 2812, if I'm not mistaken. And we will see something very interesting. What does it say, my dear brothers and sisters, over here? What does it say? Come with me. Over here, what does it say? Come and see this. It says there is this particular chapter as you could see, chapter, to remove the dust which falls on one's head while striving in Allah's cause. This is a hadith about the famous companion Ammar bin Yasir. Look what the hadith says. The hadith is narrated from a particular chain, as we could see over here, from the likes of Ikramah amongst others. Ibn Abbas قال له ولعلي bin Abdullah. Ibn Abbas told him and Ali the son of Abdullah to go to Abu Sa'id and listen to some of his narrations. So they both went and saw Abu Sa'id and his brother irrigating a garden belonging to them. When he saw them, he came up to them and sat down with his legs drawn up and wrapped up in his garment and said, during the construction of the mosque of the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, we carried the adobe of the mosque one brick at a time, while Ammar bin Yasir used to carry 2 at a time. Everybody's carrying 1 brick at a time. Ammar bin Yasir is carrying 2 at a time. The Prophet passed by Ammar bin Yasir and removed the dust off his head and said, may Allah be merciful to Ammar. An aggressive group will kill him. Ammar will be inviting them, his murderers, to obey Allah, and they will invite him to the hellfire. Look at the Arabic over here. What does the Arabic say? It comes over here. وَقَالَ وَيْحَ عَمَّارٍ تَقْتُلُهُ الْفِئَةُ الْبَاغِيَةُ عَمَّارٌ يَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَيَدْعُونَهُ إِلَى النَّارِ. Ammar invites the people to who? Towards Allah, while his murderers invite him to where? Hell. What does it say? تَقْتِلُكَ الْفِئَةُ الْبَاغِيَةُ. An aggressive group will kill him. Ask anybody in Islamic history. Ammar bin Yasir died in his 90s fighting who? Who did Ammar die fighting? Which battle did Ammar die in? The Battle of Siffin. Ammar died alongside Imam Ali fighting Muawiya. How do you have an ounce of respect? Okay, that's your reading, no problem. But I ask you, like Adnan Ibrahim and Ahmed Kubaisi said, how do you have respect for this guy? This guy's fighting, as you say, the Khalifa of his time. Khalifa who's rightful or sinner has to be obeyed. I would think you'd agree that Imam Ali is rightful, okay? Siffin, Muawiya fights Ammar. The Prophet, peace be upon his family. Many times people ask this question. Why didn't the Prophet tell people who the good guys are around him and who the bad guys? How much more clear do you need? Imagine Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi says this more than 30 years before the Battle of Siffin. He tells everybody around him, Ammar will be killed by an aggressive group of people. He will invite them to Allah and they will invite him to where? To hell. If somebody fights a Sahabi, you keep telling me the Shia, you don't respect Sahaba, you don't respect Sahaba, you don't respect Sahaba. So someone who kills a Sahabi, you want to say, radiyallahu anhu. I have never met a Sahabi. I lived 1,000 years after these people lived. But the one who raises an army against them, you say, radiyallahu anhu, the first of the kings of Islam. The writer of the Wahy, the uncle of the believers. I'm seeing over here that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi says, Wayha Ammar, taqtuluhu al-fi'atu al-baghiya. Ammar will be killed by a group of aggressors. Now there's a problem. Muawiya becomes Khalifa. How do we protect Muawiya? Because you have to protect Bani Umayyah. Someone said, Ammar, what do you mean they have to protect? If now you're glorifying the mosque of the Umayyads, you think they're not going to glorify them when they were alive? So how do you say, look, 2 Muslims can fight each other. It happens. The Quran even says there might be one group, they fight another. Rasulullah has said very clearly, one invites to hell, another inviting to Allah. Do you know what I read? One person's opinion was on this. And I said, look, our ethos is we have to accept everyone's reading, we have to tolerate. He said, yes, they were inviting people to hell, but that was their ijtihad gone wrong. I'm baffled. Wallahi, I'm baffled. But Sheikh Ahmed al-Kubaisi was right. He said, Nawasib, Baba, these are not Sunni, these are Nasibi. When a person begins to glorify Muawiya and Yazid, know that they're now moving to where? They're now moving towards Nasb. Yes, you read in Ziyarat Ashura, in Nasabin, the ones who fought Ahl al-Bayt, and they started wars against Ahl al-Bayt. That person has a hate of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Believe you me, take this from me. I believe that there are currents, not generalizing, but there are currents in the history of Sunni Islam where a person's love of Imam Ali was by default. It wasn't something that comes natural. If they could praise the ones who fought Imam Ali, they'll always defend them. Aisha defended, Talha defended, Zubair defended, Muawiya defended, Amr ibn al-As defended. Anyone who has fought Imam Ali alayhi salam in a battle, they'll find a way to defend him. And people tell me, but Shia and Sunni both love Imam Ali. I love Imam Ali, but I despise with a passion whoever fights Imam Ali alayhi salam. But that's my reading, and you have your reading, so it's fine. Let's live together. The same way you can call somebody radiyallahu anh, accept me when I despise them and hate them. Please, please, allow me. Because I'm not going to allow the Qurayshi warlords and Bani Umayyah's filth to dominate. No, you have your reading, but I have my reading as well. Therefore, when I look in Sahih al-Bukhari, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made it clear to me. Muawiya was ready to kill companions of Rasulullah. Go and investigate how many companions were killed in that battle, the battle of Siffin. Muawiya, even some companions used to be baffled by Muawiya's ways. Because Muawiya reached a stage where he's like, look, Muhammad says something and I say something. Blatant. Rasulullah has an opinion. I have an opinion. I give you an example. Come with me over here, my dear brothers and sisters, to this book, one of the most important books in the history of the religion of Islam's legal system. Everybody look over here, my dear brothers and sisters, join me. Al-Muwatta of Imam Malik bin Anas. All of you could see Al-Muwatta over here, Arabic and English, revised in whole, translated by Aisha Abdurrahman Bewley. Aisha Bewley is very important. Why? Because Aisha Bewley, I remember years back when I was writing my PhD on Muawiya, she wrote this book on Muawiya. Let me just put it down. She is the author of this book. This is how funny, when you say Sunni Islam, everyone imagines Sunni Islam is like, one particular entity. They have so many divisions within them. Look at the book she's written. Muawiya, restorer of the Muslim faith. MashaAllah. Muawiya restored the faith of Islam. Ammar bin Yasir dying, fighting Ali ibn Abi Talib. Muawiya restored Islam's wonderful faith. Aisha Bewley, I'll leave you later on. Let's go back over here. Al-Muwatta of Imam Malik bin Anas. Arabic and English. Translated, revised and whole, translated by Aisha Abdurrahman Bewley. Published by who over here, my dear brothers and sisters? Published by Diwan Press. Classical and contemporary books on Islam and Sufism. Okay? We come over here, what do we see? It was first edition, D1 Press, zoom in please, D1 Press 1982, second edition Medina Press 1989, third edition D1 Press 2014, Arabic and English edition D1 Press 2014. Everyone comes, so we see the Maliki School of Law, book 31 of this particular section. Come with me to hadith number 33 in the section of business transactions. Let's see Muawiya's opinion. Let's see other companions' opinion. Let's see what other companions thought of Muawiya. Come with me over here. What do we see, my dear brothers and sisters, over here? Come and see that we look at this hadith from Malik, from Zayd ibn Aslam, an Ata ibn Yasar. Okay? And it comes over here. What does he say? It comes over here for us to see that there is a discussion between Abu Darda and Muawiya. The discussion is what? Abu Darda, this discussion was what? That Muawiya bin Abi Sufyan sold a gold or silver drinking vessel for more than its weight. Okay? Muawiya sold gold or drinking vessel for more than its weight. Abu Darda said, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbidding such sales except like for like. Muawiya said to him, I do not see any harm in it. Hold on. The guys just said to him that Rasulullah, this was his opinion. He said, but I don't see any harm in it. Abu Darda said to him, who will excuse me from Muawiya? I tell him something from the Messenger of Allah and he gives me his own opinion. I tell him something from the Messenger of Allah and he gives me what? His own opinion. And of course, this is something which runs in the narrative of the Sunni world as well. you will always see this narrative is there that you give an opinion, then Umar gives his own opinion, and then Muawiya gives his own opinion, and Aisha has her ijtihad. And it's so interesting. Everybody becomes mujtahid. MashaAllah, early Islam is full of mujtahids. Wonderful. Come back with me over here. I tell him something from the Messenger of Allah, and he gives me what? He gives me his own opinion. I will not live in the same land as you. Blatant. Abu Darda said, I'm not living in the same land as this guy. Then Abu Darda went to Umar ibn al-Khattab and mentioned that to him. Umar ibn al-Khattab therefore wrote to Muawiya, do not sell it except like for like, weight for weight. Okay? Muawiya says something. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, what does he do? He says something. So what do we have over here? We have Muawiya says something, Rasul says something. Muawiya kills Ammar bin Yasir. Muawiya fights the Imam of his time. Even though Ahmed bin Hanbal says part of the Sunni creed, you obey the ruler, be they rightful or be they sinner, still fights the Imam of his time. And that's why it's no surprise for me that when I look at Suyuti blatantly looks at Muawiya, looks at Yazid within this text. If everybody joins me here, Jalal ad-Din al-Suyuti, all of you know this text very well, one of the most important texts in the history of the religion of Islam, how Muawiya and his comrades abuse Imam Ali blatantly, okay? But of course, radiyallahu anh, when a Shi'i says anything about the Sahaba, how dare you? But Muawiya and Marwan, free ride of abuse on Salat al-Jum'ah, wherever you want to go, yes? Come with me over here, Jalal ad-Din al-Suyuti, Tarikh al-Khulafa, the history of the Khalifas who took the right way. Do you know what's interesting about this book? The history of the Khalifas who took the right way, translated by Abdul Samad Clark, Taha Publishers. I've got over here in front of me which edition? The third revised edition. Okay, you come over here. This book is called what? The history of Khulafa who took the right way. So Khulafa who took the right way. Muawiya is the Khalifa, true. Let's see the Khulafa who took the right way. Abu Bakr, look over here. We have a whole section on Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And we have a section over here on who? Look over here. We have a section Umar ibn al-Khattab. We have a section here on who? Uthman bin Affan. We have a section here on who? Ali bin Abi Talib. We have a section here on who? Al-Hasan bin Ali. Where's Muawiya? Where's Muawiya? Baba Khulafa who took the right way. You have Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali and Imam al-Hasan. Where's Muawiya? Where's the Khalifa who took the right way? Even within them, they know it's all trouble and it's all fitna. Come with me, my dear brothers and sisters, to page 212. Look what Suyuti writes over here. When you see over here on page 212, the history of the Khalifas, look what it's written. Ibn Sa'ad narrated that Umar bin Ishaq said, Marwan was the Emir over us and he used to abuse Ali every Jum'ah from the Mambar, while Al-Hasan would listen and make no reply. Then he sent a man to him saying, I swear by Ali, by Ali, by Ali, and by you, I don't find any likeness for you except the mule. Marwan used to abuse Imam Ali alayhi salam. Marwan was this with Muawiya. Mughira bin Shu'bah, Ziyad bin Abi, Marwan ibn al-Hakam abusing Imam Ali every single. You say to me the Shia curse Sahaba. Mu anta on your pulpits, Muawiya, Ali ibn Abi Talib is abused. Marwan is abusing. So again, when people ask me as a Shi'i, number one, you fight the Imam of your time. Number two, what do you have? He killed the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number three, he changed the Sunnah. Number four, him and his son are involved in the killing of Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. The same Tarikh al-Khulafa of Suyuti, just go a couple of pages later, my dear brothers and sisters, a couple of pages later, look over here at page 215, look over here, page 215. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam died in Medina through poisoning. His wife, Ja'da bint al-Ash'ath bin Qais, poisoned him. Yazid bin Muawiya suggested secretly to her that she should poison him. Then he would marry her, and she did so. When Al-Hasan died, she sent a message to Yazid asking him for the fulfillment of what he had promised her. He said, we were not pleased with you for Al-Hasan, so should we then be pleased with you for ourselves? Okay? Yazid Muawiya's appointment. And at this time, Yazid was not appointed. This is 10 years before Yazid is appointed. Yazid poisons Imam al-Hasan through giving poison to his wife. How do you say radiyallahu anh to a man whose family not only have eaten the flesh of Hamza, but have poisoned and seen the flesh of Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam? When blatantly Suyuti is not Shia. Suyuti is saying that Yazid was the one who suggested. Some had the opinion that Muawiya told her, poison Hasan, I'll give you my son. Here Suyuti says, no, Yazid said to her, poison Hasan and I'll marry you. Yazid 10 years before Karbala does this. He is not Khalifa yet. That means his father is Khalifa. Is there a punishment for someone who kills Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam? None. And I'll still see Sunnis around the world saying what? They will be around the world saying that yes, but Muawiya is Khal al-Mu'mineen. He is the uncle of the believers. Why? Because Muawiya's sister, Habiba, daughter of Abu Sufyan, was married to the Prophet. Please play clip number 4 so that we see the opinion of one of the scholars of the Sunni world when asked, is it Muawiya, the uncle of the believers?
جزاك الله خير شيخنا عندنا.
تفضل وجزاك الله مثله.
وإياكم بارك الله فيكم. القول في عدم صحة أي حديث عن معاوية رضي الله عنه.
صحة أحاديث في فضل معاوية تقصد؟
أي نعم في فضل معاوية.
أيوه. هذا له وجه قوي، له وجه كبير من الصحة. يعني ليست هناك في فضل معاوية رضي الله عنه أحاديث ثابتة الإسناد صريحة.
أو قول خال المؤمنين أو
لا، كلام غير صحيح. الذي قاله ابن القيم وغيره وتداوله أهل الشام من أن معاوية خال المؤمنين كلام غير صحيح، لأن أمهات المؤمنين تكرمة لهم، ليس بمعنى الأمهات من النسب. وإلا هل سمعت أنهم قالوا عن ابن عمر خال المؤمنين؟
لا نسمع.
هل سمعت قالوا عن أبي سفيان بن حرب جد المؤمنين؟
لا نسمع.
إذا سلسلنا نسلسل، كلام غير مقبول مهما كان قائله، وإن كان قائله مهما كان. لأن المحرمية هذه لا تنتقل، هذا تكريم وتشريف، بدليل أنك لا تدخل عليهن. لو أخذنا حكم الأمهات من النسب دخلت على أزواج النبي، لكن إذا سألتمون متاعا فاسألوهن من وراء حجاب. فالكلام المتداول الذي يردده أهل الشام أن معاوية خال المؤمنين كلام غير صحيح.
في ذكر البخاري رضي الله رحمه الله عن ذكر معاوية وأنه فقيه كما جاء عن ابن عباس أو هكذا.
ده من تتكلم أنت تتكلم عن الأحاديث المرفوعة. أنت تتكلم عن الأحاديث المرفوعة إلى رسول الله
صلى الله عليه وسلم.
بس.
Wallah, I feel sorry for the guy. He called up and he said, listen, isn't Muawiyah the uncle? He's Khalu, Khala. Muawiyah's the uncle of the believers. The guy's like, nah. He's like, no. But you know when MBC in their trailer, if any of you watched the trailer, by the way, at home, MBC in their trailer, this Khal al-Mu'mineen is vital. Muawiyah's got no Khaybar, Khandaq, Badr, Uhud. You are to me like Aaron was to Moses. I am the city of knowledge, and Muawiyah. He's got nothing like that. So what you start doing is you start trying to, let's try and find something over here. Let's try and build something for Muawiyah. Khal al-Mu'mineen, you know what the Mawlana said? The Mawlana said, well, Ibn Umar is not called Khal al-Mu'mineen. And his sister Hafsa was married to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did you ever see anyone say that Ibn Umar is Khal al-Mu'mineen? Then he went a step further. He's like, did you ever hear anyone say Abu Sufyan is the grandpa of the Muslims? Because Abu Sufyan's daughter, Habiba, is the Prophet's wife. So did you hear anyone saying that the granddad of the Muslims is Abu Sufyan? Nobody. It's very interesting. Muhammad bin Abu Bakr, because of his involvement in the killing of Uthman, nobody calls him Khal al-Mu'mineen, even though Aisha is his sister. But because Muhammad bin Abu Bakr was against Uthman, he cannot be called Khal, whereas Muawiyah. And that's why they went on to other things. Muawiyah is the writer of the Wahy. Writer of the Wahy does not protect you from deviance. If I now wrote what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, then I could be like Abdullah bin Sa'ad. I become a murtad. I had been a Muslim and then I apostate. I had been writing what the Prophet says and then I apostate. There were others who apostated having written what the Prophet said. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, Muawiya and a film on Muawiya I've got no issue with whatsoever. It's all cool. If you can have a film on Muawiya, then when we make films, I beg you don't demonstrate and protest and throw random statements out and so on. And that might even be addressed to the Shia. They don't need to be so apologetic about your beliefs. You have a reading and others have a reading. We can tolerate each other's readings, learn from each other, and ultimately, God knows best. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, ladies and gentlemen. Today we stand on the brink of a transformative moment, a chance to amplify the voice of our community, the voice of the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam through the establishment of a new building for Imam Hussein TV, the Zainabiyya building. This is more than just a physical structure. It's a beacon of knowledge, unity and hope. And by contributing to this noble cause, you're actually investing in the future of our faith, ensuring that the teachings of the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt and the rich heritage reach every corner of the globe. Your generosity will enable us to educate, inspire and connect with millions, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of our culture and the beliefs of the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. So let's come together to make this vision a reality, leaving a lasting legacy for generations to come. Your support is not just a donation, it's a powerful testament to our collective commitment to spreading peace, wisdom and truth as taught by the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam.
सुनो बेटा, आप यहीं पर बैठकर खेलो, इतने में नमाज पढ़ कर आता हूँ, ठीक है बेटा? शाबाश।
अस्सलामुअलैकुम बेटा, ठीक हो बेटा? बेटा घर वाले हैं घर पर, हम आपके लिए इमदादी पैकेज लाए हैं। आबाद रहो बेटा।
In these difficult times, we Shias stand together. With your support, Imam Hussein Charity delivers aid to these families in need.
Dear viewers at home, welcome to season 3 of The Shia Voice. The show where dreams take center stage, talent knows no limits.
We have a range of auditions for you.
From laughter to tears, and each and every one of you should be very proud. I appreciate those of you who've come from far and wide.
Inspiring talents of our performers.
From lecturers to Quran reciters, poetry, and many more.
Each performer will take to the stage to showcase their unique talents. Each of our judges will examine this. At the end of each night, we'll find out who is moving into the semi-finals.
It was really tough. Please do not take it in a difficult way. But there is only one who will go through from all of you.
I'm Ali Fadil.
And I'm Mullah Rashid Haidar.
هنا كربلاء أرض فداء للحسين. دوربینی یک درست کنید. اوکی. پیامی در جهان تنین انداز می شود.
In 5 languages.
करोड़ों दिलों की जान करबलाए मुअल्ला से आपके हाजिर खिदमत है.
İmam Hüseyin'in mesajın İmam Hüseyin'in ülkesinden sizlere paylaşırız.
With your support, the message of Karbala reaches far and wide, sharing the legacy of Imam Hussein alayhi salam all around the world. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Imam Hussein TV. My dear brothers and sisters, respected viewers, this is Welcome to Karbala.
Sayyid, you ate before the adhan? Do you know if your fast was valid? Brother, you love tattoos, don't you? Is tattoos haram or halal? Uncle, you don't know if it's the 3rd or the last rak'ah? Not sure if you need to repeat it? Abu Talib, it's pork flavor but vegetarian. Is it halal? Sayyid Muhsin, your yearly khums is here again? You don't know how to calculate it, do you?
Don't worry, you're not alone. And I'm sure you guys... Can you just turn off the echo, please? Thank you very much. And I'm sure you guys have questions as well. Get the answers you need here on Ahkam SOS. We will be going live every night throughout the holy month of Ramadan, exclusively on Imam Hussein TV3.
Imam Hussein Charity is giving you the chance to provide food baskets for destitute and impoverished families all over Iraq and Afghanistan. Each basket costs around £30. The food basket contains essentials such as flour, bread, tomato puree, oil. They get different spices as well, salt, pepper, even like cinnamon. You get lentils, you get different vegetables, meats, dates, tea, dried lemons, and not forgetting rice. Take advantage of this blessed month and help destitute and impoverished families. You can pay via bank transfer, PayPal, or visit us at www.imamhusseincharity.com. Give the gift of a healthy meal to a family in need by donating to our food basket campaign.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم